Okay, before you actually go to your events and all that, one super valuable thing that will really pay off for you, if you can do it, you can't always do it, but if you can, you want to be pre-known. How do you get pre-known? What? Pre-known? Yes, pre-known before you go to the event, right? And so you can do this. There's usually two ways. So there's the online. So a lot of times these days people will have like maybe a Facebook group or some kind of online, like a WhatsApp group, some kind of online group that's for people that are attending the event to kind of socialize a little bit before the event starts. And it could be weeks or a few months before the actual event. And so what you want to do is you want to get on there and be active, not super over the top. Well, I guess if that's your personality, but if it is, then you're probably not introvert in this course. But maybe you're strong online, so you want to be active, and you'll see who the main super active people are in that group, and then you kind of want to piggyback on them. Comment on some of their comments, comment on some of their posts, and then when other people are interacting, interact with them, and don't like take some crazy super controversial stance against their thing. Just if you see something you like, compliment or thank them for sharing certain things, or ask them a question, and then get a little conversation going if you can. And there's always going to be a question you can ask or something you can compliment them on, and just kind of follow generally who seem to be the main players on this online group or the app group, and either throw in a compliment when you see something worthy of a compliment, or ask a question and be active in there enough so that they kind of get familiar with, oh, this is Steven. Steven is always, he's been interacting with me for 3 weeks now. We've discussed some of these things, and so then it'll be nice when you get to the event that there'll be somebody that will be looking forward to seeing you there, because you'll chat with them a bit, and then as you get closer to the event, you'll say, hey, look forward to seeing you, meeting you at the event. And so that will give you a little advantage later when you get to the event. Another way is that sometimes if it's like the night before an event, so if it's an event that you have to fly to, or someone else is, so it could be local for you, but someone else is coming from out of town into, a lot of times people will say, hey, like the night before, people get there early and they'll say, hey, they'll say either a group of us are meeting at this bar for drinks, or we're going to go have appetizers here. Or sometimes they'll say, hey, it'll just be one person, hey, I'm flying in tonight at 8 o'clock. I'm going to be at this bar if anyone wants to join me to have a beer. Or they might say, hey, I'm coming into the airport at this time. If anyone wants to share a taxi or something, let me know. So if this happens, then you need to go. It's great. This is great to show up to. So, and this has happened to me many times, where somebody will say, I'll be tired and I just want to go to sleep. I don't want to leave. But somebody will say, hey, it'll be the night before. Hey, I'm going to be at this bar having a beer if anyone wants to go. Yes, I'll meet you. I'll be right there. And then so usually I will show up, and it might be that one person, or there might be 3 or 4 people. It's usually not some massive group, but there might be 4 of us that show up, or just me, and then you show up. Everybody's kind of on equal footing, because it's not like, oh, it's a gang of us that know each other and you're the outsider. Usually it's just a bunch of people that no one knows each other yet, or there could be maybe 2 people that know each other. But usually it's not a really uncomfortable thing. But you have this opportunity to at least go in on a much smaller scale than the event's going to be, and maybe have a beer or a cocktail or just some French fries or something with 1, 2, 3, 4 people in a different setting, like maybe a bar setting, pub, a restaurant, or something like that, where you can actually sit across from them, get to know them, and have a laugh and exchange ideas before the event. And then that way, when the event happens, you're going in with, you're pre-known. You already have this little group. So when you show up, you'll say, hey, there's Jake and Jim, Sarah, and so you'll already have, you can say, hey, I'll see you there. And then some people will recognize you and you will recognize them. And that makes a huge difference when you walk in. So if you can be pre-known, this is a really great way to do it. Either do one or both of these things if you can. So either be active on those chat groups for the event beforehand, or when somebody says, hey, I'm going out, or you can do it too. Hey, I'm going to this bar for a beer. If anybody wants to join me, you can be the one that kicks it off. If no one else is doing it, you can do it. You can do it yourself. So then you can control the atmosphere. If there's a certain restaurant that you feel comfortable in or a certain place, you can say, I'm going to be here. Meet me here. Anyone who wants to show up. And hopefully they show up. And somebody will show up. But, or if you do both, that's even better. If you can be active on the group and you can also meet with one person, 4 people, meet with some people beforehand. And this has served me really well. I've made some really great connections by meeting people before an event even starts. And so something to think about. When you find your event, like your assignment was a few videos ago, when you find your event, put it on the calendar, and then there's usually something that you can join about the event. If it's a big enough event, then usually they'll have some kind of a chat group that goes along with it. If you can find that chat group and become a part of that, it's going to be really great. And if you can do any sort of pre-event stuff, even better. But a lot of the smaller events might not have that, but the bigger events do. So, and it serves you better for the bigger events if you can do that. So, something to think about. Put that into action, write it down, get to work, put in the work, show up, do it.